court today was interesting. The officer, did anyone get his name down? Because I didn't write those. Jenkins. I saw Tom Jenkins. I saw most of that. He was stating a lot of stuff that was a lot of BS. He was saying that everyone there on the bridge was armed, which was not true. He said that they were fearing for their lives and the guns were pointing at them, which was not true. He says at one point he said that the officers were crying in tears, which really cracks me up because there's women, there's children, there's every age person there is, and they're fearing for their lives, and no one else was. The main people who were fearing for their lives were the people who were there standing up. I don't understand how they thought they were in danger of anyone that was there.
And what did this person do before he was a police officer?
They said he was in the Air Force,
yeah,
and he
over
said
9 years.
Yes, he said that in all of the cases he's been in through the Air Force and through being an officer for 23 years, that this was the scariest moment
It
he's
was a
ever
10.
been through.
From 1 to 10, it was a 10. I thought,
I'm sorry, yeah, it was.
this man is in the wrong occupation.
Yes.
He should not be a police officer if that was a
He's
10.
actually an actor, you know that.
Yeah,
Well, I
it
wouldn't be
was-
surprised.
It was,
But he's still not a very good
Yeah.
actor, actually. It was silly.
He is a television star, not a cop.
yeah, it just,
Yeah. They did bring a juror in because a juror had seen that. That's what they did first this morning. And they did ask the juror, will that affect your decision on anything? And he said no. And they kept the guy in, juror 16 or something. I can't remember. So.
okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was right before curtain started, actually.
Anything else major on that one? It was a lot of stuff that was okay. And then when we got up, the only thing that I thought was the most, one that helped us out the most is when he got up and said, in your report, are you supposed to report it as accurate as possible? Yes. He kept asking him questions over and over. He says, yes, we're supposed to put exactly how we felt, da-da-da. And he made him say, yeah, he has said yes to every question. And he goes, then why in the report you didn't say that you were in fear for your life and that everyone had a gun and that there was guns pointing at you? Why wasn't that in
His
the report?
original report had none of that in it.
So
yeah.
that
Obviously,
was
right
the
there. Yeah.
turn, I guess.
Heavily coached.
Yeah, that's
Yes, yeah. When
like
he
I
said
said,
the
he's in
officers
the
were
wrong
crying was
occupation. He
just,
should not be a police officer.
very
I don't think he'll
bad.
protect me very well.
yeah, it was
Especially
very
after
bad.
they've been in Iraq and this was the scariest thing they've ever been through.
Yeah.
Which
sad.
was,
It's
it was
sad.
contradicting after the fact when he got down. They're showing all this video after video, and it is of the crowd, it's of on the stage, all this stuff.
And no guns pointing.
There's no guns.
And-
I saw in the video maybe two
rifles in this. Yeah,
and he's stating
for the
everybody,
film.
and it was just like contradicting
And
him
none of
right
them had
there.
it. They were all just, over their shoulder, or, yeah. It was actually kind of a waste of time and silly.
It was. And then the next, what his name again? I don't want to say it wrong.
Dennis Michael Lynch.
Yes.
Got on the stand.
He worked for Fox News at the time.
Yeah, for the Kelly show or Kelly Project. Kelly File.
Kelly File. He worked with her a lot, and so he was out there.
And I thought he was
working-wise.
doing well.
Yes.
Just matter of fact, answering the questions. I do not know what point they're really trying to get at.
I don't either.
Neither does the jury. They're going to sleep.
Yes,
It's hours and hours of video of, do you know this person? What side of the stage were you on? Were those, who came over the hill?
maybe pointing out Ammon. Ammon's not on trial.
Yes. That was probably the biggest thing we've had a conversation with is this is a trial, it seems like, for Ammon, Cliven, and maybe not even really anybody else. He's the only person they're talking about this whole time, and they are not on trial right now. So it's confusing to
And
watch.
pointing out particular guns, but what's funny, and Dennis did a good job, they would show the same group of guys in different videos and ask Dennis, well, did you see these guys drive in? Did you see them walk? And Dennis was really good in saying they were the same guys at the stage. Yes, I did. Because I can tell they're trying to make the jury think there's that many more guns when it was the same 4 guys with the guns. And so I'm so glad that Dennis made that point. He didn't need to, but he did. Yes, those are the same 4 men that were in front of the stage. Yes, I saw them.
Asking questions like, what are they wearing? Camo. What's that on his shoulder? A radio. Just silly questions. And then on the end part, just before we left, was my favorite part of the whole thing. Yeah. He in the video, they're all, is that your voice? Yes, that's me talking. And he goes, hey. And he stops and he goes, why did you say that? And he's like, they're trying to think at the time, but again, this is 3 years ago. And he goes back to it, he goes, I like to rephrase what I was saying that for. And they were stopping him, and he's like, I would like to answer the question that you gave me, because they were both fighting him like crazy. They didn't want him to answer after that. And he put his foot down. Yes, he goes, you asked me the question, I'm going to answer it. And so they finally allowed him to, and he goes, the reason I yelled that is because the group seemed to be going in a little bit of that direction. I was trying to stop them. Well, why were you trying to stop them going that direction? Because I was afraid for their lives that the BLM officers were going to shoot them.
Yeah, he said right out, he goes, I felt that the BLM officers were going to shoot them. And
they were not happy about that comment.
But tell the cute part about the wash.
Oh, that was
great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you know what a wash is? And what they're referring to as the wash? He goes, no, I'm from New York. I think of laundry.
Wash is laundry.
It was.
Wash is laundry.
He's being very rude. It's kind of funny.
It's his personality if you watch his show.
Yeah.
He doesn't walk and
his
talk.
body language is completely closed. He's got his arms folded all the time.
I guess not rude.
He's here.
It's
he's
not
just matter
rude.
of fact.
It's you're asking me the same question. I just told you that.
And
I took the video. You know what I mean? They're asking him questions I
would want to say in his position, and your point, but you can't say that. But I felt like he wanted to say your point is, or I do anyway. So
that's as much as
anyway,
it was.
he's doing
Lots of
good.
video.
So
The rest of the day should
how
go
long
well.
do they expect the press to have him testify for the prosecution?
Not sure when they're going to get to cross-examination at this point.
Probably
all day.
The way I
could be all. They could
the
have
way
him
I
on the stand
feel
all
is
day.
that they are really trying to make this go as long as possible.
Yeah.
Well,
they have nothing.
So
they truly have
pointless.
nothing. And so the points they're trying to make over and over again are the same points that are nothing. And that's how I feel.
I think the one other thing is during their video they brought up, and I love that they played this. I was bawling my eyes out.
Yeah, we got to see Ammon talk, and it was great.
Yeah, he talked, and I don't know how anyone in that room, the jury, the defense, anyone could say that man. Sorry,
was doing something wrong.
Yeah, he got up there and he was tearful. He explained himself. He looked. There's no way people could have watched that video. Anyone in that room. I was happy they played it.
Yeah.
I was bawling.
And the prosecution played that, which maybe I'm not a
shocked
lawyer or
me.
prosecutor,
Yes.
but
It didn't
maybe
make
they're
them look
making a
good.
full circle. But for us that know they're not guilty, they did not do anything wrong. It actually was kind of nice to watch that. We got
Yes, it
emotional.
was. It's just hard because he's been in prison for over a year, and it's just hard to watch. That man is in jail because he's a danger.
Well, are those men sitting there? This court, so far, this morning, I haven't been, this is my first day here. It's not even about these men sitting there.
No.
None of it is, and they've been sitting in jail for a year. And just, what a waste. What a waste of time and money and their lives for a year. What a waste.
The government doesn't have anything. And so
Yes.
they're just trying to create a lot of
Prolong it as long as
fluff here
possible.
and sprawl it out to make it look like they have a case when they don't. And when it comes down and they're able to show that footage from the BLM about joking about who they're going to shoot, and no, that cowboy's mine, well, I'll shoot his horse, you shoot. And when that all comes out, this thing is going to completely fall apart. And I'm really looking forward to cross-examination of Dennis Lynch because he's a hostile witness at this point. He's having all he can do to be polite at this point, as far as I'm concerned. He's not happy to be here, and I think when the defense gets to cross-examine him, it's going to turn whatever little point that the prosecution was able to make in this case, it's going to turn it right around. And Myrie is being so obnoxious when they'll play a clip. And did you hear what he just said? What did he just say? And then making him repeat something that was just very clearly said. The jury heard it, and you're making him repeat it already. I mean, he's not winning any fans. I think that the jury has got to dislike the prosecution by this many weeks into this thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're
And
bullies.
Myrie especially, he's a very
He's a schoolyard bully.
Yeah,
That's what he
is.
comes across
He
as.
gets mad
But he's
so
not
easily
good.
and-
He's not good, in my opinion. The questions he asks over and over, to me, that's not good prosecuting. That's not a good lawyer. That's not good prosecution.
I'd be a hostile
In my
witness
opinion.
for him anytime.
Kidding, right?
Don't ask 10 questions, 10 times and expect a different answer. I don't know. But I guess that's the way they do it. I don't know. Yeah.
So what are we expecting after lunch?
I think there's going to be more of the same boring stuff is what it's going to be. I don't think
Hopefully
they
they-
show no
supposedly they're going to be close to be done with the videos because he got it to what, like 34, and I think they're on 29.
They're 39, and there's 61.
Yeah.
But
There's
what
a
else
lot
are
of
they,
videos.
What else are they gonna? In actually defense, it just for the sake of time, we're willing to admit all these videos into evidence because they would have to show them on the clip, and so they just said, let's just move this thing along. And for some reason, I don't know why the government wants to take so long on this. I don't know what's in it for them to drag this thing out for as long. Look, at Oregon started a week after this case, and the jury's already out in that case. So
It just seems like it's taken as long as possible, and it's like they're just trying to keep these men in prison as long as possible because this is going forever. And these men truly were there one day, most of them.
Some were only there for 3 hours.
You know what I mean? And they've been in. It's totally a court on Ammon and Clive, and it had nothing to do with these poor guys that have been sent in jail.
What I'm looking forward to this afternoon is I always look forward to Todd Engel's cross-examination as someone that was there, and he's been enlivening the jury almost every time, getting people to laugh and things like that. So I think I'm looking forward to his cross-examination. So thank you all very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, people, that's it. We might have another update later.
There we go.
If you want to ride, we can
They get close enough to the sound.
Yeah, that's what I have a problem with the sound.
So, here, do I?
Yeah, that'll work.
Alright, so we're going to do the update for today. We came back in with Officer, what was his name? Not Gregory Johnson, what? Jenkins, Officer Jenkins. And we come right back in with a cross-examination with Jesse. He pointed out, he said, you said weapons were pointed at you all day, when you arrived on the side of the road, they were pointing weapons at the convoy, at the police convoy. He's saying that when the police metro arrived, that on the sides of the road, everyone was pointing weapons. While they were pointing weapons at me. But he can't describe anyone that was pointing weapons, and he also states consistently all day, people were pointing weapons. Then he quotes, white males were pointing weapons at me all day. We go into Steve Tomasi. Your amendment was to keep the peace between the Bundy supporters and the BLM. And he said yes. And he's like, and the peace could have been broken by either the supporters or the BLM. Were you concerned about the BLM having weapons? And he said no, he was not concerned. So pretty much, he wasn't there to keep the peace. He was there to protect the BLM. That's how he felt. The bridge was not his concern. It came out in that. And he was asked if he saw the BLM point their weapons, and no, he did not, because he was up in between, in the median, in between the two bridges, not down in the wash. Then we go to Engel. Todd says, let it zoom in on the protest, and it was objected to, and said counsel is testifying. Once again, they don't like him calling it a protest. He said, you stated that as you were arriving, they were pointing rifles. He plays a video, and he said, and you said everyone was armed. He asked him to point people out in this video that were armed, and everything. Then we go to Perez. He asked if after the 911 call, because they were on their way back to Las Vegas, and they got a 911 call and had to go back to the wash. He said, did you go with your lights and sirens on? No, they did. He didn't think so, and no, they didn't. Then Jackson gets up there and was talking about how the fact that they had helmets, bullets, tack gear in their vehicles, but they weren't allowed to get it out. And then he was asked if the BLM seemed to be upset because of the way Metro was protecting them. And he said no, they were very thankful all day that the Metro had arrived, which is completely the opposite of what every officer that has come in and testified. Obviously, Jenkins didn't know that, but that is completely the opposite of what every BLM and park ranger has come in and said. And then the government goes back to redirect. He was talking about when the FBI interviews him, if he had discussed whether there was weapons pointed at him, because in his actual MOA, he doesn't talk about that at all. but when the FBI interviewed him, he was talking about it. And then he was asked about his officers in the skirmish line. And he said, what did you observe of your officers? And he said they were scared, they were all crying. So what he's testifying is that he had 20 officers, Metro officers, that are supposed to be part of this team that does riot control and all that, and they were standing in a skirmish line crying. Then we go back to recross again. And Tomasi said, your report on the 12, in your words, you said nothing about guns being pointed at you. But then after the BLM, or after the FBI started asking questions, that when basically the other story came out. Then we go to Ingle. On April 12th, there was no one harmed or killed, but you rate this as a 10. But you stated there was a riot in Las Vegas where officers were hurt, frozen water bottles and rocks were thrown at them, and that was only rated at a 5. So he brought that up to everyone. Then we go Jackson again. So your officers were crying. How many tears did you wipe away from your officer's eyes? He was obviously objected to, but I think they got their point across. Next was Michael Lynch. Michael Lynch come in, and I want to say he was very combative with the government's questions. They were bringing up, stopping parts of his video and bringing stuff up, and he was like, I was trying to get my camera to focus. Like, just because he zooms in on one thing, he said, I'm trying to get my camera to focus and then get B-reels. So we go through a lot of different videos. They break them all up into smaller portions. And he stops and he says, in this scene, there were 3 people standing, dressed in camo. He said, this scene, what are people doing? He's like, well, those 3 people are talking. And he's all, well, what do they look like? He's like, they're dressed in camo. So they're continually trying to get their narrative across. Then in another part of his video, someone says, we're going to cut that fence and go into the wash. They just pull that out. Lynch was asked where the wash was, and he said, well, I'm from New York. And where I'm from, the wash is Montreal.
Classic. That's so classic.
Then they have another video down in the wash. And in the video, Lynch says, hey, 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 and it's stopping people from walking, and they all stop and have a prayer circle. And it was asked, why did you say, hey, hey, hey? And it was because he thought that the BLM would shoot these people. And then they kept stopping the video and circling people in camo and being like, do you know this person? And he's like, no, I don't know. Like, it's a person in the video, I don't know them. And then he's like, does that person have a firearm? And he's like, well, I can't tell. And this is what they're continually doing through the whole videos. And then he plays it again until he sees a long gun and he like marks it. 1 long gun with him in the wash. 1. And then he was kind of shocked and he's like, yeah, okay, I guess that's a long gun. We come back in, we go through more video. In the video, you can hear the loudspeaker a little better than you could hear it apparently when it was being played originally. And so we get to the end of that, obviously they want to keep the questions short with Lynch. He's obviously not giving them what they want. In his video, one person is up at the gate and says, get your guns off of us. They point out pictures of men with guns again. We've pointed out so far in Lynch's videos, I want to say 5 different people with guns, not some 20 plus that they're always talking about. In Tomasi's Cross, he said, did you see a video of Ammon being tased? That was immediate. He said, Michael Lynch said yes, and it was part of the reason that he came, but it was objected to because it's not relevant. It was argued that it was relevant as why he came and why Tomasi's defendant came. That was his stand and made to move on. He was asked if there was an uneasiness that day. He said yes, it was very uneasy down in the wash. He asked if they could see the BLM and if they seemed like they had a lack of leadership. It was yes. Did you see snipers in the wash? No. When you met with the FBI, you discussed what happened that day in a meeting. That was July 2015. And then a report was generated from that meeting. He saw that report last night, And he went over the report and found that there was inaccurate things inside that report that then he initialed on it. So right here, we've already stated that this gentleman talked to the FBI. The FBI changed his story and wrote in their report different things that Michael Lynch had actually said, and it was pointed out there. So this is one of the things we've got going on. The MOAs are the things that they write out with a memorandum of activities for any objective how they want. Interview them, there's a discrepancy.
The 302.
And the discrepancies are always about guns and pointing weapons and about black hat and all these other things. Then we go into Justice cross-examination. Just asked Lynch, do you remember seeing when Metro convoy arrived? And he said yes. Do you remember anyone pointing weapons at them? No. After the charge, did you see him get in a line? Yes. Did you see the Metro officers crying? No. So pretty much Lynch is throwing, what was the other guy's name? Jenkins' testimony completely out. Just by, he's got video of this, he was there, he saw it. When you said, wait, why did you say that? He said, I did not want to see people get shot or have myself get shot. I didn't want anyone to walk forward because I believed the BLM was going to shoot people if anyone walked forward. And then he talks about how he walked forward, lifted his shirt to show he wasn't armed. Did you see the man with the dog point his weapon at the BLM? Because man with the dog was once again one of the people they pointed out in the video. And he said, I never saw anyone point their weapons at the BLM. This is Michael Lynch. I never see anyone point their weapons at the BLM. And then at the end he said, did you fear being shot? And he said, absolutely. We had a break and then they brought an entire queue of law students in, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Jackson comes back up and says, we were shown about 30 minutes of the video. There was some video that was not shown. How much video do you say that you recorded that day? And he said, what we saw in the courtroom today was maybe half or less than what he turned over to the government. And then he also was asked if it appeared that Metro and BLM were working together, cooperating, and that was actually what he wasn't able to answer. Engel went up and, had a hard time cross-examining. They kept objecting to his questions. He was asking things like, do I tell the militia to go get their guns and get his cows back? Lynch couldn't really remember word for word what was being said at the stage, and they didn't pull the videos up, so we kind of moved on from that. Then he comes to the video where he says, do you recall when they all went to the gate to meet love? Do you recall the man in the black saying, it's hard to de-escalate a situation when you have guys in helmets with M16s pointing us. Then another man with a black hat comes up saying, get those guns off us. Dan Love says, that's why we're de-escalating this. And then gestures to his men to lower his gun, but we know from everyone else's testimony they did not do that. Then Leventhal goes up. He asked what his impression of the mood at the rally was, and Lynch said it was boring and he felt like going back home. Then he gets into Ann's truck and gets a ride down there. Then he asked, when you arrived at the parking area, he calls it a rest area, did you see anyone up on the hills? And he said yes. And they were able to get a screenshot of a video in 5036, which shows some snipers. Let's see. When you went back to the protesters in the video, he says the BLM was going to shoot or get shot. He said, don't go out there because the BLM was going to shoot or get shot. There was a lot of communication on this because they were saying, well, that's not what your camera heard, and he had to explain how the camera can pick up things better in a windy situation because of a certain boom mic than you can actually hear with your regular ears. And it wasn't until later that you got home that you could hear it on the video, but when you were actually standing in the wash, you couldn't make out what you were saying. In the government redirect again, they talked about this guy on the top of the bridge yelling back about the the demands, the orders that they're shouting, he was trying to say, well, this guy couldn't actually hear it. There was a bunch of argument between the lawyers over them saying that the people in the wash couldn't hear. They're saying maybe the people on the bridge could hear better. It was brought back up and replayed, and Guy did not say court order. He said, we don't care about your stinking orders, which could mean anything from whatever you're saying on the loudspeaker. So that wasn't proved. And then he tried to talk about, you stated that you feared you were going to be shot. And then when you went forward. But then you went back to the protesters, and at a later date when the horses came through, you went forward again. And he said, did you not fear you were going to be shot the second time? And he said, yes, I still felt I feared I was going to be shot, but he still didn't. So that's where we ended the day. They haven't called the next witness because it was so late. That's all I got right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.